Hello there. This is Adam Pearson from Fortunato Chocolate and also the author of the forthcoming book that's going to be out on June 4th, Finding Fortunato. Links to Fortunato Chocolate and to the Amazon page to pre-order the book are in the description below. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you would like to receive notifications when I produce content similar to this in the future. Basically, the gist of this channel is I have been writing, in addition to writing the book, I have been writing articles for 641 days in a row, and I send them out to my email newsletter list. By the way, if you want to join that list, you can join it on the homepage, at the bottom of the homepage on fortunatochocolate.com. And basically, if I don't get these on video, and pretty much everything I know as a father, as a business owner of 16 years, as a guy who reads a lot and writes a lot, pretty much everything I know except for what's in the book here, I have put into these newsletters, and I'm just scared that if I don't get them recorded in a different way, then maybe nobody will ever hear of them again. And I did put some work into them, so I think it would be nice for them to somehow or another be out there. So I'm just going to be reading the article. I probably won't read it verbatim because this is a video, but I have a feeling that if I read these articles, it'll be better than me trying to speak off the cuff because I don't have that much experience speaking extemporaneously on video. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read these. And again, like I said, if you like it, hit the like button. And if you want to subscribe, please subscribe. All right, here we go. The most rewarding thing that has happened to me so far this year has been seeing my kids get good at math. I recognize that this is a fairly mundane accomplishment, but please allow me to explain why it means so much to me and lay out the larger significance of my involvement in this pursuit. We homeschool our kids. I've written and spoken quite a lot about homeschooling in the past, and in those articles or when I've spoken before, I've given an in-depth explanation as to why we decided to pull our kids out of the school system. Long story short, we would like our children to receive the most effective education possible, and we feel that this is best achieved through homeschooling. Every family has to decide for themselves what to do with their kids and their education, and we have found that our methodology works well for us. Even so, I'm a big supporter of public schools, and I think that educational funding is the second best way to spend tax money. The first best way, in my opinion, is on infrastructure. This opinion is based on several books and studies that I have read that show that the returns on investment are much higher on infrastructure and education in terms of the various different ways to utilize public funds. Now, back to math. In our house, I teach math. We have a little downstairs study room where our kids have small white desks that we purchased from IKEA. Around 7:45 every morning, the boys descend the stairway and take their seats. I have 3 sons, by the way. We don't do anything on tablets or computers, which means that I must photocopy lessons out of textbooks every day. Pardon me for the rustling of the paper. This allows us to reuse the same books over and over for all 3 of our sons. The boys do their work by hand with pencils and scratch paper. For the last few years, almost every morning has been a struggle. My sons do not like math. Maybe you can relate if you have kids. Or rather, they haven't traditionally liked math. I now believe that this is actually a subset of a much more general phenomenon established by biology that is present in all living organisms. We are all hardwired to seek the easy way because the easy way allows our bodies to conserve energy. Laziness is our default setting, and we only tend to switch away from the default when matters of life or death present themselves, or when the default is overridden by strong ideology. Overcoming biological tendencies is not easy. I had a buddy in high school who was perpetually grounded by his parents because he kept sneaking out of his house at night to see his girlfriend. I asked him why he kept getting himself in trouble, and he replied he just had to see her. He couldn't live without her. The threat of punishment was not enough to tamp down his biological urges and keep him in his house at night, sleeping in bed. Regarding ideology, an example is a person who grows up in terrible poverty and swears from a young age that they are going to do whatever it takes to strike it rich so that they can pull their family out of destitution. Their desire to achieve the goal is so powerful that it supersedes their body's natural inclination towards inactivity. Another example of this is culture. Some cultures value education highly, and there's social pressure to obtain a high level of proficiency at certain skills. Now, here's the thing about math. It is a subject that becomes progressively more challenging all the time. In this way, it differs from something like reading. With reading, there are 26 letters. You learn the sounds, you learn the irregular cases, and then once you've learned to read, you pretty much know how to read forevermore. You can get better at it through practice, and of course, there are spelling and vocabulary to consider, but for all intents and purposes, you only have to learn it once, and then you have it forever. All of my children learn to read by age 5. We give them exercises to maintain and improve their ability, but we never have to really go back and teach the entire concept anew. But this is not the case with math. There are new concepts all the time, and each new concept can be combined with prior concepts to form new types of problems. Not only do kids have to learn the new concepts, but they also have to be able to analyze a problem, to know which concepts to use, and they also need to know in which order the concepts must be deployed. It is almost custom built to frustrate the living daylights out of a little kid. At school, your kid is in a room with a bunch of other students, and therefore they're more likely to suppress their frustrations and not show their emotions. I realize I just pronounced suppress. Pardon me on that one. I'm reading, I'm trying to look in the video and reading all this stuff at the same time. Back to the article. But at home, children are in a safe place and they feel free to let their emotions out. It got to the point where I had to put boxes of tissue paper on each of my son's desks for the snot and tears expelled during the regular morning math sessions. For the last couple of years, I've been bewildered about how in the world my kids were ever going to get good at math. But now it's changing. They're working hard, not crying, not becoming overly frustrated, and they're handling new concepts with composure. And it has been spectacular to see. I believe that their recent success is the culmination of me preaching a particular ideology to them every single morning for the last 2 or 3 years. It is the ideology of grit. One of my favorite books, a book that I think all parents should read, homeschooling or not, is Grit by Angela Duckworth. The thesis of this book is that grit is a meta skill. The ability to grind through hard challenges and not give up is what opens the door to all noteworthy achievement. As stated above, grittiness, as stated above, grittiness crashes head into our biology. So, what I've been telling my kids for the last several years is that everything that will make them proud will be hard first. Other than room and board during their childhoods and the love of their parents, nothing in life will be given to them easily. Math is nothing more than practice for the types of challenges they will face in the real world for the rest of their lives. And after a couple of years, that seems to have taken root. Now, when they come up against something hard, they aren't freaking out, but rather they are slowing down, thinking, and taking it step by step. I love it, and it makes me very proud because I know that it will open the door to a world of accomplishment for my sons. Anyhow, thank you for letting me share it with you. If you know any youngsters who need direction, hopefully you can share the gospel of grit with them. And I thank you so much for your time today, and I hope that you have a truly blessed day.